So Rosie the Riveter wasn't just a war poster. She may have been the most influential working woman in fashion history, and we all just completely missed it. So I'm Alexandra with Vinok Personal Stylist. On my channel, we talk about fashion history, runway trends, personal style, all wrapped up in politics and why fashion is never just fashion. Today, we're talking about Rosie the Riveter. So first things first, Rosie the Riveter was not originally a fashion icon. What she actually was a wartime symbol during World War II, where she represented the millions of women who entered factory jobs while the men were off fighting the war. You probably recognize the iconic red polka dot scarf, which, by the way, this one's from Amazon. I'll link it. I'm not a huge fan of Amazon, but I love this headband. But you also probably recognize that "We Can Do It" poster. You know, we can do it. But interestingly enough, that wasn't the original Rosie the Riveter image. In fact, she was painted by Norman Rockwell in 1943 on the cover of Saturday Evening Post. And it was this just powerful woman wearing denim. She was actually a dental hygienist, but she was literally stomping on Hitler's Mein Kampf. And suddenly, American women weren't just homemakers anymore. They were welders, they were riveters, they were putting together planes and ships, mechanics, machinists, the whole shebang. And in my opinion, this is where things get really interesting, especially from a fashion perspective, because Rosie the Riveter changed not just what was expected of women to wear, but what they could wear and why. And fashion, I've always said fashion is never just fashion. It reflects labor, class, politics, economics, power. Everything you can think of is tied into fashion and represented by it. Remember my Met Gala video? Same idea. It's all about class and politics. So only a few years earlier, women's fashion was so heavily associated with like elegance, delicacy, daintiness, those kinds of things. Think about designers like my personal least favorite, Coco Chanel, but her iconic little black dress debuted in 1926. Think about that silhouette, or maybe Elsa Schiaparelli with her surrealist, very artistic silhouettes. And then you've got like Christian Dior with the cinched waist, the flowing skirts in the early and mid 40s. None of those, though beautiful, would have flown for a second in a factory. Riveting an aircraft, not a chance, doll, as they would have said. So Rosie's wardrobe had to work, just like she had to work. We're talking denim coveralls, utility jumpsuits, work boots, rolled sleeves, hair scarves to keep machinery from catching any kind of loose curls. And suddenly American women were dressing for movement and labor and capability, utility. Go figure. I would argue that Rosie the Riveter walked so that modern utilitarian fashion could run. Your cargo pants, your denim jumpsuit, your oversized work jacket, your model off-duty mechanic aesthetic. Rosie would have gotten a kick out of that, by the way. But she made practicality fashionable before that was even considered chic. And talk about sowing the seeds of a revolution. Did you know we used to have socialized childcare in the United States? Don't get me started. Don't get me started. Cut away. Here's where the story gets a tiny bit complicated. There's actually debate over who the real Rosie the Riveter was. Over the years, many women have been associated with that image, that nickname, and that's why you still see headlines today, things like Wichita's Rosie the Riveter passed away. That one happened, rest in peace, 3 weeks ago. But the thing is, so many women were involved in this. Like one inspired that poster, others actually worked real riveting jobs, others became symbols later through media coverage. It was a group effort, as women do. And that confusion kind of proves the point. Basically, Rosie became bigger than just one person, just one woman. Almost like our war effort grew stronger because of the work of everybody together. But she represented millions of women who stepped into industrial labor during wartime, many for the very first time. Granted, some women were working at the time, especially women of color, women who were poorer. So I don't want to whitewash this and make it seem like this is the first time women went to work, but it is the first time a large, large swath of the United States women went to work. But suddenly, the country needed them. And wouldn't you know it, they absolutely crushed it. You know, I spent 15 years in the Air Force, and I'm telling you, this surprises me exactly zero because I have seen what women are capable of. Anyway, that's why Rosie the Riveter still matters today. On one level, it does matter who the original Rosie was. I will fall on that sword because she was a real woman. And like so many women through history, she never got the full attention and recognition she deserved, right? It's a tale as old as time. But on another level, she is us and we are her. And to every woman who entered the workforce and proved she belonged there, she became Rosie the Riveter. Rosie helped normalize the idea that women could be visible, capable, strong, stylish, employed, all at the same time. She wore makeup, for Pete's sake, you know? That changed fashion forever, because after Rosie, women's clothing could never go back to being just purely ornamental and decorative. The silhouette of women's fashion literally expanded. We saw the Le Smoking Jacket in the 1960s from Saint Laurent. We saw, I could go on and on, don't get me started. But that legacy is still stitched into what we wear today. And that is not too bad for one woman in a polka dot headscarf. I'll see you next time. Please like and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me grow. I do a lot of research for these, so it would be great to get them propagated. Ciao!